All right, so because a lot of this stuff is taken directly out of the module, there's stuff I've just going straight from the module to my notes and whatnot, but I'm gonna contextualize a lot of just kind of different things, right? So you might want to take some notes because there are some things that aren't in the readings and stuff that I'm going to be bringing to you all kind of for thought processes, like hey, thinking about some things and whatnot. I don't know if I said it in this particular class. However, when it comes to these type of classes, freshman seminar, sophomore seminar, one of the things that you will never hear me say is that you have to do something like this way. You have to do it like this. You will not hear me say that because that particular way, how I might instruct it, may not necessarily work best for how you might do things. So what I'll do is I will give you information and say, hey, do it like this, and how it practically works for you, apply it to your life in its best form and figure, if y'all understand what I'm saying, okay? And so when it comes to leadership is the exact same way, right? You learn leadership by watching others lead, both successfully and unsuccessfully. And sometimes I would even think that you can almost get more out of a person who's a bad leader versus a person who's a good leader. Because a person who's a bad leader, you'd be like, nope, I am not going to do that. That is completely unnecessary. That's how it was for me. When I used to play ball, there were certain things some of my coaches did, and I would be like, nope, that's not me. I'll never be caught dead doing it. So then when I became a coach, there were certain things that I stayed away from, right? That allowed me to be a better coach for the population who I was coaching and mentoring. Y'all understand me, right? So this week it was entitled The Study of Leadership. Now, this is how you know good leadership and sometimes bad leadership. Okay? It says, meaningful change is the byproduct of leadership. But please understand, meaningful change is not always good change. Meaningful change is the byproduct of good leadership, or of leadership in general, excuse me. But meaningful change may not be from good leadership. Now, we've seen like a lot of things happen over the course of years, over the course of history, where there have been people who have been leaders of countries, of nations, of cities, of states, and they've made meaningful change, but the meaningful change was not anything that benefited the people. And you'll understand more when it comes down to it when we go over servant leadership in a few weeks. Okay? So meaningful change. And meaningful change could mean either way. Meaningful change, right? If you're following the sports world, you have Deion Sanders, the talk of the town right now. That's a lot of meaningful change he did. Like over 60 transfers in meaningful change. And a lot of people didn't like what and how he did it. So you have to understand too that just because somebody doesn't like how you have done something doesn't mean that you're not a good leader or your leading style isn't good, right? Me not liking how you lead is not an indictment on your leadership. I could just not like how you do certain things for whatever reason. You get what I'm saying? And so that's why you have to kind of be able to build your own. The red ones are my favorite. Is that red? Yeah, the red ones are my favorite. Red and grape. I love them. Airheads, boy, I tell you. First off. One, two, see, look at this. Meaningful change. Great. Oh, look at that. Bam. So when you look at it, right, it's not an indictment. Some people just got problems with you. And that's not anything you can help. You feel me? There's not anything that you can help. For example, my grandfather was president of the school. He had meaningful change. But no matter what he did, there were still people that just didn't like him. And he was one of the most beloved presidents at this university, outside of our founder. So it doesn't matter. But you have to understand and be comfortable in your skin and in your style of learning. Leadership is much more of a relationship and process that occurs when leaders and followers, that occurs between leaders and followers. Let me start that over. Leadership is much more of a relationship and process that occurs between leaders and followers, as opposed to simply the acts or condition of a single person. Okay, so the role of leadership is one of those things where it's like it takes two to tango, right? It takes two. It takes the leader who is and has a vision, and then it takes for those people, or the quote followers, who can help execute the vision. Okay? But it's a shared thing. It is shared. It is not anything where, because it's shared being dictated. Do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. So versus you telling somebody what to do, you're inviting them on a journey within your vision that you have, and that person sees it and wants to help, right? Because it takes both. Is a king really a king without people that he rules? Right? And so when it comes down to it, everybody who's in a leadership role needs people who can help go and direct the vision. Now, with this, you have to understand that within leadership, there are times where it'll change roles. For example, if you are a part of any type of organization on campus, whether you're in athletics, whether if you're part of fraternity or sorority, whether if you're in one of the 18 million dance groups on campus, or band, being a section leader, whatever the case might be, leadership can change roles depending upon what happens. And it can change, like, okay, you have this leg of it. So think of it like a 4x1, right? First person, first leg, bam. Then you pass the baton for the person who has the second leg. And it may not always just stay in your hands. So being in college and being in the university like this is a great opportunity to show how fluid sometimes leadership can be, and how many people can move and weave in and out of that position. But you have to be able to understand when it's what, right? Because a lot of times, even now, you'll see it, power grabs. It's my way. My way, we're going to do it like this. We ain't going to do it. And if it ain't done my way, then forget everything else. Nah, that's not how it works. Not how it works at all. And the funny thing about it is because there's nothing new under the sun. This happens all the time. It's not the first time. And how you lead people shows the type, how you are as a person a lot of times. It does. It absolutely, absolutely, absolutely does. So you have to be able to you have to be careful, because as a leader, what are you doing most? You're interacting between a lot of different personalities. You're interacting between a lot of different mindsets and a lot of different attitudes, all at one time. And you are learning how to navigate through all of these things at one time in order to what? To make sure that common vision, what goes forward, right? For example, for my athletes, the common vision is to win. You got to get the dubs. That's it. Ain't nothing more to it. So it's a common vision, and the vision isn't even yours. The vision is just the overall vision of what you've come here to do. So what do you have to do? You have to make sure that as you weave in and out, this is just not my vision. This is the vision that we're all trying to achieve. Same thing if you're a part of any organization. The organization didn't start with you, but the organization more than likely has aims, more than likely has a constitution that you abide within to what? Make sure that organization goes forward. This is not necessarily, like for me, right? For me, I have my own business. I own my own business, and some of the things I do is digital creation and some other different things that I've done within the community and whatnot. And so the things that I have are based upon what I do, how I see certain things. And I have people who help me out, who work for me to help me get things done, but they believe in my vision. But that's based off of me and how I want to do things. There are some is based upon just you already have the foundation laid as you're moving forward. Y'all got me? I know I'm hitting y'all with a lot of stuff. I just made notes and I was just like, Lord, take over. All right, let's do it. As he should. Amen. So the best type of leadership, and this is me, and this is personal to me. The best type of leadership I feel is where there's relationship, right? Like, please excuse me, y'all. I've been teaching all day, and when I get going, I get like hot. And this whatchamacallit don't make it no better. In fact, gotta help cool the room down. Is based upon relationship, right? Building authentic and genuine relationships with people as they walk alongside me, right? As I lead my family, my wife, my children, I've built relationship with them where they trust me and I trust them how my family moves and how my family grows. With my friends, I build relationship. It's not me, you. No. Why? Because it is important to me to know who you are. Before I walked in this building right here, I saw one of my students from the summer. I haven't seen them since summer classes. And I called them by their name. That's why I'm intent on trying to learn everybody's name as your instructor, right? Because it's something about a person. They say, I got 200 students, but I'm trying to learn everybody by name and face. Wow. You just ain't a number. Except if you wear a jersey. That's how I learned you at first. You just ain't a number though. So you build the relationships and you can strengthen your leadership through relationships, because when a person knows how much you care, after that, then they'll care about how much you know. So that's my favorite type in building relationships, right? And that was the type of, and that's one of the things I get from my grandfather. For all those who weren't here the first day, I call this the Dr. Oswald and Mrs. Helen Bronson School of Servant Leadership, because it's based upon a lot of what they've done in their life. Okay. Now, Joseph Ross defined leadership in his book, Leadership of the 21st Century, as an influence relationship among leaders and followers who intend real change that reflects their mutual purpose. Mutual purpose. Being able to help someone see the vision and getting that buy-in, right? You got to have buy-in. Everywhere, somewhere, somebody had buy-in to whether you're part of an organization, team, business, that this thing can work. It became a mutual buy-in. And with that mutual buy-in, what happened? Now everybody's on, right? Saying, hey, come on this journey with me. I remember I helped a friend of mine, and he had a business here in town, but he ended up moving to Atlanta. He was like, and there were some things that happened. I was asking him some questions, and he came to me and said, hey man, I need some help with this since I moved. Would you be able to help me? And I was like, yeah, sure. I helped him manage his business while he was away. And then we came down to it. He was like, I think it's time to shut it down. And I was like, okay, no problem. But while he was gone, I believed in what he was trying to do. And I upheld it. And I was like, okay, cool. And that was built out a relationship. Hey, man, this is what's going on. Tell me what you think of that. I actually like that idea. Run with it. Leaders help empower their people to do things, right? So, the other day, my pastor was talking to me. And in fact, he even said this before, long before. But he's like, I want you to get to a point where, quote unquote, you don't need me. Why? Because he wants to empower people to go out and do the work as well. So, not that it was like, oh, you don't need me. And no. But one of the main things is if I can empower you to do and go and live out your dreams, that's perfect. What God has called you to do, that's perfect. Not to keep you, no, you can't go nowhere. Stay right here. No, you can't go nowhere. Right? No, that's hoarding. That's hoarding. You don't hoard people. Now, if somebody feels that they need to go, well, that's fine. That's fine. Leadership is that thing that if you feel like you need to go ahead. I may not agree with it, but you're your own person. But it also shows that there's a place of compassion, a place of forgiveness, a place of willingness, all these little different things that allows, if mistakes are made, for reconciliation. That's a whole nother thing. But we're going to get into that. You're welcome. That one was for free. Hold on. What happened? Hold on. What just happened? Don't tell me I just lost everything. Yeah. Hold on. It's not undone. So wait a minute. 1 second. Great thing about having a Mac. Just open up the computer. Make sure I didn't lose my stuff. If I did. Oh, I didn't lose it. Okay. I didn't lose it. Okay. I'm sorry about this, y'all. This thing is really like running me up a wall right now. All right. So now this is the great thing about leadership. Now remember, I said earlier that there'll never be a time where I will tell you, you need to do something a certain way. You need to do it like this, like that, whatever the case might be. I'll always be in a position to be like, hey, take this and apply it to your life the best way for you that it fits practically, right? So it says this. The study of leadership, check me out, has identified a multitude of traits and behaviors involved in leadership that are deemed as essential under every circumstance. This being stated, there has not yet been any set traits or behaviors that are considered universal, essential, simply due to the situation of nature of leadership. So, in the study of leaders, right? We can go back to all of our great leaders, like what in the world just happened? Lord, I did something to my phone. We can go back to all of our great leaders, Dr. King, Malcolm X. Who else were great leaders? That's a good one. Nelson Mandela. Who else? Give me a leader. Give me a good leader. Huh? I know I took the too easy. Black Panthers. Okay. I know who you're talking about. Yes. Good. Harriet Tubman. Who else? He cool. He cool. Hold on. It's 20 minutes.